live, you'll be able to see it. And then we have to share. But sometimes
I love
Facebook be
this
a
app.
little funky with showing
I love this
everybody
app.
in all the comments.
This app is amazing.
Yeah, so it could be
Yeah.
kind of weird sometimes. But so everybody, welcome to my podcast. This is the second episode of the Entrepreneur Toolbelt, where each and every week I interview different entrepreneurs from different industries to kind of like pick their brains and get the best information possible, how they got started, what they're currently doing in their business, what's working in their business. And you can take the information and apply it in today's time to make your business more effective. So I got a guest that's a really good, smart guy. I met him 2 years ago, I think, in what was I?
And
Houston, Texas,
It
right?
was the wholesaling event, I think.
Yeah, we met at wholesaling. Pretty
Yeah.
humble, awesome guy. He was just sitting out there, just chatting and chilling, like it was a normal day.
That was when nobody knew about the app, and I went up to you at the bar because I knew you. You had a coaching group and everything. I was like, man, Antoine, all right, like because I was trying to bring the word out around then. So I was just like, I saw you, I was like, all right, I just wanted to chat up and do some business because I knew you had a name back then. But man,
yeah, even then I wasn't even doing SMS marketing. Like, I heard about it, but I didn't know much about it. I don't know. I just know cold calling. And then after the event, I said, hold on. I remember the Adam guy. Let me reach out to him. Hey, bro, I'm ready. He's like, okay, cool. And ever since then, man, I just been rocking with you.
My man.
Yeah, so so this is Adam. He's the CEO of the Smarter Contact. He has a big resume. I believe he was doing flipping wholesaling properties from the auction. And he was doing a whole lot of stuff.
I mean, over 500 plus transactions before I moved to the tech side. So, I mean, I've been doing this game for 8+ years, 500 plus transactions. At the height of my business, I did 172 deals in 2 years, all in 26 different states. Height of it, we had 26 rehabs going at one time, and that was in 11 states throughout the country. So, yeah, I was in the trenches for many years, and that allowed me to now build a multi-7-figure software business that's operated internationally with employees around the world.
Amazing. So let's touch on that, right? Because clearly you're a bona fide entrepreneur. This isn't something you stumble into. Like a lot of people in wholesaling, they're just good at wholesaling, but that don't make them a good entrepreneur.
Yeah.
What made you come up with the Smarter Contact? Like, why did you think there was a need for software for the real estate community?
Yeah. And by the way, excuse the shitty lighting. I'm here traveling and at my mom's house visiting, and didn't plan to. I remember we had a podcast today, so my bad for the shitty lighting. I'll try to make up with it with content. But yeah, so for you guys to know me, my name's Adam. I am the founder of Smarter Contact. We're an SMS marketing platform. If you don't know what SMS marketing is, it's the hottest marketing channel of any marketing channel right now for deal generation. And Antoine and I have been doing business now for the last year or so. And a lot of your clients have had a ton of success with texting, with SMS marketing. So how did I come up with the idea? I'm always the kind of person that I'm always thinking about like how to improve something. Right? I could drive down the street and I could see something like, man, this little change can make a big difference. This little thing can make a big difference. So I was always thinking about it. And I was like, people were sending mailers and people were starting the cold call. Like this is years ago, 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. And I was like, man, how cool would it be is if you had people's number, you could just send them all a text at once. And, I was like, all right, Google it. I go on Google, I'll see if this has to exist. Like somebody's got to be doing this. And nobody was really doing it. No other company was doing it in real estate. And I was like, wow, what if I could just build it myself? I went on Upwork. I found a cheap, Chinese developer to build it for me. Baseline, like real base model, but it worked. And then from there, I got the idea and then I ended up building it out and growing it now. It's quite large across the real estate investor community. It's very popular, but it grew just from an idea, and taking action. So I didn't just say, oh, well, that could be a good idea. I was like, all right, cool. Who can I find to help me build this? And then I took action on it.
Awesome. So you start building a Smarter Contact. You start off with an Asian guy. How did you end up like in Ukraine? Like I know now you deal with like developers from Ukraine earlier.
Yeah. So the story was, one, I was already hiring them online. So I hired developers online in Ukraine. It was just a coincidence. I didn't really know where Ukraine was. I hired them online. I had a new set of developers.
You didn't know where Ukraine was?
Not really. I mean, I knew it was like by Russia. I had no idea like where. If you asked me to spot it on a map, I'd probably get it wrong. So yeah, I mean, I knew it was like by Russia. That's it. I didn't really know much about it. So yeah, I hired a guy from Ukraine to build it for me, to help me further build it. At this point, I was traveling the world. I was, beginning of 2020, I started to travel the world. This was my goal, right? I got into real estate for freedom. I got into real estate because I wanted to do what I want, when I want, where I want. I just complete freedom. So I got my business to the point where I could live in South America. I can live in Europe. I can live anywhere, still generate more than enough income, and not lose a dollar in missed opportunity cost by me having to go do the manual labor, do deals, like go to the house. Like I removed myself from the equation of having to be there. Right. So I reverse engineered that transaction. I was like, okay, how can I remove myself from having to physically show up so I can live anywhere I want? So then I moved to Ukraine because I had a team. I had a few guys there. And then, I'm always a big thinker, and I scaled the team. We got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then now I have a house there, and, it grew much bigger. I have a citizenship there. It's grown quite big.
So how does that work? Like the citizenship thing? Like, I honestly thinking like, you know what, I'm doing this virtual thing too. Like how do you go and say, hey, you know what, I want to become a citizen, but I'm assuming you still keep your U.S. citizenship. So some type of dual citizenship.
Yeah. So, and I'm sorry, I'm a resident there. I have a 3-year residency. I have basically a local resident card. I've applied.
Oh, okay.
You can get citizenship. There are certain countries which I am actually considering just for tax purposes. You can buy citizenship in like St. Lucia, St. Kitts, some of these islands, which basically make you fully tax exempt, because I still have to pay U.S. tax. So I got a 6-figure tax bill, multi-figure probably tax bill a year that, I'll have to pay. So, I don't live in the U.S., and there's ways that you can actually buy citizenship in other countries, which now we're going down that road. But yeah, I mean, it's the world is yours. It's much bigger than you think. And it's much bigger than the U.S.
That's amazing. So let's talk about this whole virtual concept, right? I've been kind of on board with doing virtual, not even virtual real estate, but just virtual entrepreneurship. Like you say, for me, it's the convenience, right? Like I was just in Florida for a week, still make the same money. Business is still going as usual. And when I came up with the concept in my head that, hey, I can run my online businesses from anywhere as long as I got internet and good, quality people working with me, it's an actual thing. So when did you catch on to that? Like, man, I don't need to be stuck in a cubicle to make my business work.
Man, I've kind of always, I had to get into it first. I had to go to school and realize that I hated school, and A and B wasn't teaching me anything, and C, I couldn't get a job with it. So that was a waste. I had to get a normal job, put on a suit and a business tie to realize I hated my boss and they weren't paying me enough. And C, it wasn't challenging me, so you have to go through these experiences and put yourself sometimes in it, or just B, listen, find someone who you really want to be like, and then learn from them, So when I realized that I had to just kind of go through the school of hard knocks, I had to put myself in positions that things I didn't want to do, to realize now I know exactly what I want to do.
Right. Awesome. So let's get into the platform a little bit, right? Because, like I said, I really wasn't feeling the whole SMS thing until I met you, right? Because I tried the SMS with ClickSend and all these different places, and then they shut me down. I'm like, hold on, you allow me to buy 5,000 credits, and then now your reason is I may be spamming people. But I'm like, so why would you sell me 5,000 credits? What do you think I was gonna do?
Right.
And then I came across your platform, and it wasn't like that, right? It was like, yeah, we want you to send a text message to a lot of people, but here's how to do it, right? And I think that was so genius. Like before you, when I looked around other people, like it was either two ways to do it. You spend more money, right? The barrier entry, you spend $600-700 a month with this provider minimum just to have the service, or you struggle with these different one-off platforms that shut you down every 60 days.
Yeah.
So talk about the sophistication around building something that it was beneficial for the small guy. Because I'm really big on the small guy. Like anybody can come on and start texting.
Yeah, I love this. I love this because, man, I've had like so many just newbies, people that just started. Like they've never wholesaled a house. They're not expert real estate investors. They're people that just like maybe have like $1,000 to their name, a couple $100 to their name, and I've gotten this text probably like dozens of times. Like, oh my God, I've just closed a $32K deal. You just changed my life. I have so many people across the country over like 2 years, man, like 25, 30 people I've at least that have just used it. I mean, just that I've personally gotten these texts from individual people that just text me and are like, hey, like, wow, like I just made 30K like on one deal, one assignment. And that's enough to be that spark. I mean, Max says it all the time. You're one deal away. And then that first deal, you get that and it changed your life. So I'm sorry if I got off track. The question is that, I built it because I'm a real estate investor. I'm not a IT developer, or I'm not like, no, I built it like as a real estate. So that experience of flipping houses for 8 years, I built it the way a real estate investor would want to see it.
Right.
Yeah.
So what are some things that like, because now people, like, I was at dinner with a buddy of mine and he's like, hey bro, like, I think the text message stuff did. I'm like, I don't know. I'm kind of getting, because I know there's a whole lot of people doing it now, but I don't think it's necessary dead. What are some things people can do to kind of stand out in their marketing that you see, since you got access to all this data points?
Yeah, we're going through it now. I mean, there's, listen, everybody wants to sound like a genius and say that, text message marketing is dead. Drop the mic.
Right.
It sounds cool. Like you want to sound like the smart guy in the room. That's, everybody wants to sound, but really people don't know what they're really talking about. And I'd say probably 90% of the time they're just uneducated, or they're misspeaking, or they're trying to sound important about it. But the reality is it works extremely well still. We still have 90% plus delivery rates, but it doesn't take a genius to realize that the regulations are slowly going to creep in. And is text message marketing going to be around forever? No. I can't tell you confidently that 5-10 years from now, we're still going to be doing text message marketing. But I still have guys regularly closing 5+ deals a month. We're still getting the highest delivery rate of any text message marketing platform by far in the industry. So you look at it, and I'm not going to say any names, but we get people that go to all the different guys. But we spent like over $500,000 plus building this with the engine underneath the hood that gets the messages through. I mean, this is like the whole game. But it's always been a cat and mouse game in this business.
Right.
It's always been like trying to get past carriers. I mean, we've been doing that since the beginning. This is no different. And even to this day, right now, we're still getting the messages through just fine. And, we may have a year, 2 years, 3 years, who knows? But one thing I bet on me as the provider, just like yourself, like, there's always a new problem as a real estate investor, right? Like if a seller says, hey, yeah, my house is for sale, but it has a lien on it. You're not going to be like, oh, okay, well, next deal. No, you're going to try to solve that problem. And just we're experts at solving that problem. So as the challenges go, I'll tell you that the life will keep going on texting as long as there's any kind of creases there. We'll always find them and make that happen.
Right. I agree. So what do you think far as like, I see, like you said, we're not going to say no names because I don't want to get no cease and desist letter sent to me. What do you, like when people make these big claims? Okay, there's a lot of newbies out here, right? Majority of my followers probably done less than 5 deals, right?
Yeah.
I got 1,000 people that follow me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, you name it. What could you tell them about, it's not even about pushing your product. I push products that I believe works, and your product obviously works. What could you tell them about when they choosing which product to go to as far as text message marketing? Because I see people out here making these big claims, right? Hey, we're the number one we the best. But there's no studies, like no third party studies that's done
Yeah.
without some benefit. So what information or tips could you give them for them to be able to make an educated decision on who to go to? Because most of these people ain't got a lot of money, bro. So they can't afford to jump from you to them to back to you. So what are some tips you can get them?
That's a good question. And it's hard because you don't really know until you test it out. You spend a few weeks or a week, testing it out. So the biggest ones I'd say is find someone who's actually using it successfully and like ask them, like, how many deals a month are you closing? And find someone who's actually successful at it. The other one is never do something that doesn't have a free trial. The reason I do a free trial, because I know my software is the best. I don't have to sell. Like, I could be the worst salesman, but the software, like, you test it out and you test you test Coca-Cola and you test Pop Cola from the dollar store, it's a difference. So first off, anything that doesn't have a trial, usually they're trying to get you in the software, but we offer a 7-day free trial because I know the product is 100%. This is the best, most pure software you can use. Also delivery rates, like how they get the messages through, but that's kind of hard to do. Are there limitations, right? What are the limitations on the software? How many messages can you send? What are the upload limits? Do you have upload limits? Can you hit multiple markets, right? Can you, let's say you're in DC and you want to text in New York, right? Can you hit multiple markets too, right? Or do you have to pay more, different plans, or all this stuff? Those are the big ones, like what limitations the software has, what kind of reputation for delivery rate, how long they've been around, and then also asking people that that are that know the software.
Right. Because I remember one of the big decisions where I said, I'm going to go all in on just spending my money with the smaller contact. Not because I'm an affiliate, it's because I heard you say, we got multiple couriers. So at any given time, one courier stocking stupid, we click a button and we can pick back up the pace. That's very important to me, when I'm constantly marketing. And one day the courier.
And you notice that, notice you get a lot of responses on your campaigns. Like you set a campaign and you get like responses. Like you're never going to get 100%, but it's it's pretty high up there.
Yeah. So I think that's a big thing, guys. When you out here doing your SMS, see whoever your provider is collaborating with multiple couriers, right? Because everybody got somebody got to answer to. And God forbid, maybe the couriers itself is out of compliance. And the government decides to say, you know what, you can't work. What you going to do? You know what I mean? So you should always work with people who have multiple couriers, I believe. And the free trial is awesome, right? I get a lot of people sign up. And I don't know how much you usually give them, but I know it's enough text message credit where you can make an informed decision before the 7 days. Do you want to continue with it or not? So that's one of the things I like, that you actually allow people to text and really test out the software.
Exactly. And somebody asked, I think Mike, you asked, what's the name of the product? So Antoine, I know that just with your audience, and we've known you for a long time, they get additional credits by using your link that anybody would not get anywhere. So number one, you get a 7-day free trial. Like, you don't pay a single dollar for 7 days because we really want you to use it and test drive it. But here's the thing. You use this and you're consistent. One thing also that I recommend is, if you're a real estate investor, start with one strategy and master it. Don't do all types of different stuff, right? Do one and then just do it with the repetition. Do it the first day, hit that same lead 14 days later, hit that same lead 30 days later, craft a really good template. The template is really important that you're sending. So having that and dial it in, but just don't give up when people aren't, let me give you guys some secret sauce, right?
Go ahead with it. Drop the nugget. So
we got some secret sauce. If you're expecting to just drop a text campaign and then people will be like, yeah, I want to sell you my house for 80% off. It doesn't work like that. I have guys making $500,000 a year just on texting. And you know what happens? They're getting all their deals on month 2, and then 3, 4, 5, 6. 3 to 6 is where they're getting all their deals. And then what happens is if you stick with it for 2, 3 months, now every day you log in, you're going to get people from last month that'll say, you know what, Antoine, you text me a few weeks ago, or you text me a month ago, or you text them again. Now they're ready to sell, right? So it's crazy. Like what we see is some people, these newbies, they'll drop off after 2 weeks. They're expecting to get a whole awesome deal in 30 days. What they forget is it's the pipeline that you built. It's that relationship. And then you're going to text them the first time, and then maybe 2-3 weeks later, and then 2 to 3 weeks after that, they're going to be like, if they're going to sell their house, who do you think they're going to text or call?
Exactly.
And it's the same number. We use the same number, so it always keeps the same pattern. They get a text from the same number the whole time. And then, but if you give up in like 15 to 30 days, there's that famous like meme of the guy digging or something like that. And he's
with the gold. I mean, the diamonds.
The diamonds.
You're walking away, there's diamonds on the other side of the little thin layer of dirt left.
And those diamonds will change your life. And then you hold out 3 to 6 months, and then month 12, you just missed out on a fortune, $250,000, $500,000.
I mean, that's why I tell a lot of my clients, like they come at me a month later, 2 months later. You do the virtual assistant thing now too. Congratulations to your new endeavor. And they be like, hey, this stuff doesn't work. I'm like, bro, you haven't even given it 90 days minimum. Like, like if you get your wife or your girlfriend pregnant and you go to her 6 weeks later and say, where's the baby? She's gonna be like, it's a process, honey. You have to wait a while. And then when the baby's ready, he's gonna come. He or she's gonna come when she wants to. And to me, I think that's the evolution of marketing. Like, we use the smaller contact to build our pipeline. We don't care about locking up deals right there on the spot. I can't even count on my hands how many deals we actually locked up in the initial conversation. It's all about just building that rapport with the seller and then getting them on the phone. And let's talk. Do you mind talking about if you get a person right that's interested in an offer, when should that person transition from texting to hopping on the phone?
Here's a piece of advice. Always ask permission.
Right.
I always try to be respectful. So, Miss Smith, is it okay if I give you a call? And then she's like, yeah, because then it's not weird. Because if you call, it is like, it's like you don't really know each other yet, And I'm always very polite. Hey, Mrs. Smith, I'm free between 4 to 6. Is that, what's a good time for you? Is 4 to 6 okay? Ask for a good time, and then also ask to transition. But I try to keep things on text, but I always try to ask permission and make sure that I'm as respectful of them as possible. That way they respect the relationship.
Let's talk about because people get so shocked at like when they send their initial campaign and they like, why people treat me like this? Let's talk about how people should go about handling these people when they just say whatever crazy things they want to say to them.
Like play in traffic or yeah. I mean, you're gonna get some. I mean, if you got soft skin or you don't have thick skin, maybe wholesaling is probably not in general good business for you because people aren't nice. People have a bad day. So how do you respond? I mean, all types of stuff, but I keep it fun. So let's say, for example, I text a seller and the house is worth $200K, and they're like, yeah, I'll take $250, and I'll text them back something like, yeah, like does the house next door come with it? You know what I mean? Like, I'll be funny back, and you'd be surprised that you can still get deals out of that. So like most people will be like, screw you, like that's a dead deal. No, like I'll still have fun with that and enjoy a little banner with them, and that way too it won't burn you out because like anything you do it too much, you can get yourself bored. But if you make it fun, you make it like, all right, this is actually like a fun, almost like a little game, you can really enjoy it. So that'd be my advice.
Yeah, I started my own texting campaign, so I literally just set up a separate small contact account away from my master account we got with you. And I just started texting because I'm recording a show called Starting Over. Basically, I'm setting up a whole new wholesaler business, and I'm using smarter contact. I'm doing it with no VAs, blah, blah, blah. And I started laughing like, hey man, these people funny. So a lady said, this is a show where I express how I feel. A lady said, yeah, I sell you my house
I
as
love
long as you eat my ass, right? I'm like, cool. I eat your ass as long as you let me put season all on it.
What's the
And
ARV?
literally, she started laughing and joking. And then I said, because I knew it was a tied landlord list, I said, okay, so I understand you might not want to sell this house, but is there any house that you have in your portfolio that's a pain in the ass you wouldn't mind letting go right now? And she said, kind of think of it is. And I kept digging, and next thing you know, I had 2 hot leads out of a deal that most people would have said, oh, this is a cold lead, throw it away.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's 100%. Don't respond to the first no, and keep it fun and down to earth. Keep it fun and down to earth. And the same way in your message, isn't that a little tip? Anybody that's watching, don't send a text like everybody else. Hey, hey John, or hey Antoine, I saw your property on 123 Main Street. Would you be interested in selling?
Right.
That's boring. You know, keep it fun. Like, give me some energy. Give me something I can work with. Make them laugh. Make them smile. Make them have a good time. Make them, something witty. If you can get with something witty that's obviously not offensive, right? Obviously it's respectful, funny, and witty. If you can get that combo down, it's perfect.
Because we had this impression that you guys provide like the templates, right? Like, and I be telling people it's best to take whatever templates you do get and create your own.
Yeah.
And base it off of your personality. So when you text them, it matches whatever you text them originally.
We used to provide templates, but we don't because for me, I have a responsibility to people. Is everybody's texting the same thing, it's going to create some blockage issues. So we stopped doing that. But really, just the best advice is read it to yourself. Here's the filter, right? Pretend you own a piece of property and somebody just got this text on your phone. Would you tell them to fuck off or not?
Right.
That's basically how, would you tell them not interested or not? So,
right. Yeah. I agree. So being though, right, we know that there will be regulations coming from SMS. What are some things you're doing to make the smaller contact a more relevant brand, just in case the SMS thing becomes a little murky down the future?
Yeah, I mean, we got some other stuff we're going. We're building other channels and all types of other stuff. I mean, but at least for now, for real estate investors, we're doing everything we can. We're providing different services for them. All types. I mean, we're helping them, we're educating them. We have a community, which is amazing. So we have the Smarter Contact community where if you want to learn from people that are doing 5 deals a month, you can just post a comment on the Facebook group and they can guide you. So it's not just texting. It's really just a brand. It's a community. We're there for you for pretty much anything that you need.
Right. I agree. So how could people, do you have to be a customer to be a part of that, or can people just plug in that want to learn and maybe a potential customer?
We used to make it just for customers, and then we opened it up. The group is, I'll post it I'll post the group in the chat. I'll post the group in the chat, but no, you don't have to be. But yeah, there's a ton of value there. I mean, there's a ton of value in that. I can't comment. I guess I have to log in. Here, I'll just send it to you.
Just send us a private message inside here, and we'll post it for you. A private chat.
All right. Yeah, and if any of you guys have questions, and we have also the best support team. We have an outstanding support team that helps guide the customers, training. This is proven. If you want to change your life,
I agree. I agree.
It's
we work with a lot of SaaS companies, software as a service, not just affiliate stuff, but literally, I use a lot of products for all my business. And one thing I know about most SaaS companies, their customer, literally, their customer service trash. So, you do a good job when investing in customer service and making sure that the customers are actually being able to be onboarded properly and learn how to work their software. Because obviously, if they don't know how to work their software, they're just going to not use it. And They just want to unsubscribe from using it. So I agree.
Facts. Yeah, man. So yeah, we take pride in awesome customer service, the experience, the user experience. I mean, I could talk to you for days about this, but the user experience, it's very easy to use. You don't need to be, you don't need to be Elon Musk to figure out how to use it. You don't be a genius to figure out. It's very simple and easy to use. And that was all by design. And we really tried to make it as positive and easy to use as a user experience for you to do one thing: close deals. You follow the process, you follow the blueprint, follow what Antoine is doing now, and give it with time and consistency. And there's no way you're not closing deals. You just have to be consistent and commit to it.
I'm curious. Do other industries utilize this sort of services? Like, you would think like credit repair companies and people like that probably utilize this service.
Yeah, we're thinking about going down that route, but like now there's some additional stuff going down, regulations going down. So they do utilize it, just not through us.
Right. Right. Cool.
Like, I mean, marketing campaigns for like elections, that's a big one. Polls, companies having promotions and sales and stuff like that. There's just all types of use for texting. Yeah,
because I see it like even though it would be regulated, the government is not as smart as, I never seen the government made a bulletproof regulation where once they put it in place, there's no way around it. So I mean, you just gotta wait and see what happens to figure out which way you can go about it to not break the law, but to operate in a way that you're still doing it ethically.
100%. 100%. And by the way, you're TCPA compliant in the platform, so you're not you're following all the rules of TCPA. So by using the software, you have no
So what does that mean? Because most newbies don't even know what that means and the importance of it.
Yeah, so TCPA is the Telephone Communication Protections Act. It was instated in 91. Basically, it helps prevent marketers from over marketing, and there's certain regulations of things you can do and things you can't do. Within the platform, at least, we require that you click through each message. So each message, you have to click through it individually. It's very easy to do. But by doing that, it allows you to stay ahead of TCPA. We had our attorneys look at it. So basically, essentially, you're not breaking the law. So by using this, you can hit 1,000 people in a day or an hour, but by following the protocol of the system, you're not breaking the law and you're compliant.
Amazing, because people don't understand. Like, there's people out here like that sit back and wait till you text them and then say, "Hey, I'm on a DNC list, blah 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 blah," but not knowing that you actually individually click that text message is not actually spam, I guess, or bulk text message. So that's good to know. You know what I mean? Like, and then one of the things I like about you, you're so transparent. You actually don't mind talking about the good and the bad of things. And when people getting themselves into situations, I feel like people should understand both sides of the fence. So that way, something pop off, they understand what they're up against.
100%.
So I like all my guests this right on my show. It's the beginning of the decade. It's 2021. 10 years. At the end of the decade, where do you see yourself at?
End of the decade. Wow. So 2000. Say end of the decade.
Yes. End of the decade makes it 2030.
Ooh, that's a
long way there. But I would ask people that.
Man, that is one of the best questions I've ever been asked on a podcast before. I love that. That is an amazing question. End of the decade, 2030. I plan to have multiple houses across the world. Number one, live where I want, fully location dependent, which I'm currently doing, but on an even larger level. Families, all that kind of stuff, fully set. I want to start investing in other people. My goal is impact. My goal is to help. My goal is to provide. It gets to a point where you make enough money and you just don't care. And I'd like to get to that point, which now I'm getting to there. So by that time, I want to start creating an impact for people probably in Africa or I was originally from Morocco, which is in Africa. And I came from not so much. So my goal is to take what I've learned.
You're Moroccan? I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. I was born in Marrakesh in Morocco. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I wanted, my goal is to take what I learned and find driven entrepreneurs that have the skills, but don't live in the right location. Because me and you were blessed. We came. I don't know your story much, but I don't think we came from much, but we lived in America.
Yeah.
So we
be
had
a whole lot worse outside this country.
You take me and you would put us in Timbuktu. It'd be a little tough.
Right.
So my goal is to create an impact. At this stage of my life, I really want to take what I learned and also take the income that I have and find people that I can help educate and find entrepreneurs that can help and build a really.
So what's some tools? This is a Toolbelt podcast, right? What's some tools to keep your business and you afloat? To make the money you're making. What's the tools you must have? It could be an app on your phone. It could be marijuana. Yeah. I don't care. What's some tools that you must have?
Dude, I'm scrappy. Like, listen, you're talking to this king of being scrappy, and especially when early on and like the tools you use. I mean, there's stuff that's free. Google, right. Well, the entire Google suite is totally free. That's everything Google is amazing. G Suite, email, Google Calendar, like swear by it, use it. I highly recommend it. Another one, Trello. I use Trello for everything. So if you're not doing looking at your like daily to-do, if you're doing your daily to-do list and you're writing on a piece of paper, that's old school. Like I do my to-do list, my daily, my weekly, my monthly, my goals, all of it. I put on a project management tool, and guess how much it costs?
How much?
$0.
Wow.
Yeah, Trello, I swear by. It's a project management tool, and there's a bunch. There's like Monday.com. There's Asana. There's Jira. There's a whole bunch. But yeah, that's a big one. Loom, another free app that I love, is you got VAs. You want to communicate a point to them, and you can like type up a whole set of things. But I can record for free. Loom is generally free. They have a paid version for I think for $10 a month or something. It's still not that much, but I can record my thoughts vocally. Takes me less time. It gets the point across clearer to the person I'm trying to record the point across to. Loom, I swear by this app. Highly recommend it. So yeah, Google Calendar, Loom, Trello, those would be my top 3, and Google Sheets would be another one. Oh, and Slack. It depends on the size of the business, but I don't think Slack would be for most real estate investors. So probably Google Sheets, Trello, Google Calendar.
So what's your style of management? Like you got a bunch of employees that work for you. How do you think they think of you as a manager? Like, are you laid back, relaxed? Hey guys,
they all hate me.
Oh, they hate you?
Yeah, they all hate me. Hate my guts. They're like, all right, it's 5 o'clock. Time to clock out. We hate this guy.
Wow.
No,
was you just pushing them to the next level? Like you see raw talent in them, they don't see in themselves. You just keep pushing them, or they just genuinely hate you. Like this guy.
No, I'm 100% kidding. No, I'm very close with my employees. We have a great, fantastic relationship. So it's the difference between as a leader, you have 2 options. You can be a transactional leader, or you can be a inspirational leader. And really the difference between the two is transactional is saying, you do this, I'm going to pay you X. You go make these calls, I'm going to pay you this much. But for me, I actually care about them as human beings. I want to see them grow. I care about them. I respect them, and I want to see them become a better version of themselves. So I pour into them myself. I have regular meetings with the team, with some of them individually, and I'm invested in their growth, not just in their pocket.
Right.
So
I like this style of management, right? Because what happens is, when things get tough, they stick with you. You know what I mean? Because they see, the consistency of you taking their best interest at heart, no matter outside of what you pay them, you actually care about. And that's 100%. Great.
100%. Yeah.
So let's talk about, being an entrepreneur. I follow you on IG. I actually love following you on IG.
Thanks, man.
It's like I'm there with you.
Thanks, man.
How do you stay disciplined where I see you, in Dubai, and you on top of a fucking skyscraper and then riding in Lamborghinis, and the next thing you know, 2 days later, I see you back in smaller contacts in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Putting in the work. How do you balance that? That's one thing.
Ooh, good question.
I want to know.
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, being accountable is something you just have to learn, and you just have to go remember that the hard work is the fun. Driving a Ferrari in Dubai, yeah, that's fun. And by probably 90% of people's standards, like that's like the pinnacle of like doing cool stuff.
Right.
I like coming to work and having my meetings and having my podcast with you right now. This is a lot of fun. So like, yeah, like sometimes you got to go through it and have those experiences in your life. But really what I trained myself is I enjoy the hustle. I enjoy the build more than I do the end product. Because what's the end product? I make a lot of money. Cool.
Right.
What do I do with that? Buy a Ferrari or a nice house. Cool. Then what? And it doesn't lead like that. If you follow that path and you just keep asking, like, what's next? What's next? It doesn't really lead to anything. And then what? I'm sitting there and I have a nice house and people think I'm cool. So freaking well. My happiness is doing what I love, which is building a business, dealing with people that I love every day, and solving big problems, helping the world. So that's why I come back to work.
Man, that's amazing. Like, I know you've been around money for a while. You did deals and everything, but like when you started to hit your stride, like what were some things you did to make sure you kept the money? Because it's easy to get the money, right? It's a hard thing to keep the money.
Yeah. Putting yourself in scenarios and around people that will not force you to be stupid with your money or, in situations, So like, that's a lesson that you always have to go through and learn, sometimes the hard way, and I'm no different. And I know, and sometimes like every year I'm cutting people out. I go in my book and I write all my list of my friends. I write them down. And to anybody listening right now, I want you to do this. Go in your notebook. It takes you 5 minutes, not even 2 minutes. Write down everybody that you spend time with, your friends, your family, your aunt or uncle, or your friend that drinks too much and gets you to smoke weed, or whatever. Like there's always people that you spend time with in your life. So every year I'm cutting. People are making cuts, just like the basketball team in high school. Like we're trimming the fat, and I always trim the fat because I know that these people influence me, and it's not going to help me grow. I'm going to spend more. I'm going to make less. I'm going to make less impact. So if I'm going to do that, I have to cut these people out, and I just do that on a every 6 month to year basis.
Wow. And do you do short-term and long-term goals?
Yeah. I'm very clear. I do quarterly goals. I do quarterly, annual goals. And the best part is my team sees it. So we have a once-a-month meeting. The first thing we look at is, okay, what was our quarterly goal? Like we have it, boom, it's in my bookmarks. It's right there. Revenue, what we want to make. What are the 3 biggest rocks, the biggest things we want to move forward? And it's not just me that sees it. So I'm the captain. I still have all the guys and people on my ship. They see it, so they know together where we're going, and then we have a set goal. And every month we have a team meeting, and that's the first thing.
I noticed. Let's back up a little bit. You dropped the little nugget. I don't know if people caught on to it. You said rocks. So you run your business on the EOS model through Traction, or you inspired by that?
You know what? I only called it that because one of my coaches calls it that, and we use it. But Traction is I read the Cliff Notes on that book. So not specifically, because I can't say that I've read that book front to cover, and I probably should.
Yeah, you definitely should.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, I'm flying out of the U.S. on Friday. I'll pick it up before I leave. How about that? Yeah. I'll pick it up. But I heard that's a sensational book.
It's an incredible book, and the reason why is it gives you structure, right? Like my good friend, I don't know if you know Mark Evans. Mark Evans DM. He used to talk about chaos. Like you can't scale chaos. Like I grew my VA business so fast, so quick that it was literally like a runaway train. And literally like in the last, this me being vulnerable, in the last month, I cut like 20 people. And it's not because I wanted to cut them. It's because I wanted to cut them and replace them with more quality people, right? And and that's not saying that they're not good employees. And I told someone, hey, heart to heart, hey, you're a good employee, just that you don't fit for what I'm trying to go. Yeah. Right? And sometimes you got to be real with yourself. And that book allow me to make these educated decisions, right? And I'm still in that process of turning things around. And I read this book called Blitzscaling by the dude who founded PayPal. If you
Yeah,
haven't read that book,
Peter something. Or read Hoffman. Read Hoffman.
yeah. If you haven't read that book, at least get. So what I do now is I use Mentor Box by Ty Lopez and the other guy.
Yeah.
And it because sometimes I don't have time to sit down and read a 48-hour book. So it really helps me stay sharp in my business and keep a pulse on where we're going.
Gold. Nice. I might pick that up. Too bad they don't have that in Eastern Europe, but might have to invest in that. Maybe like an online thing.
Yeah, it's definitely good. So I know we talked about your business, we talked about the money. Like, I know we dabbed a little about Dubai, but where did you get this travel bug from? Like I told you, I DM'd you the other day, say, bro, I just got outside my comfort zone and stayed away from my house for an entire month, and it felt so good. And if I didn't have two boys, it would have been longer, but I got my children, so I can't do it too long. Where did you get that concept of just constantly traveling and seeing the world and seeing things from?
Man, you know what? Okay, well, first, the scenario worked out perfectly for me because, I'm not married, I don't have kids, and I had a business that was fully virtual online. So I did a full assessment of my business. I could do it from anywhere, and I just traveled. I went to 1 or 2 countries, and I was like, wow, it's awesome here. Like, it feels very safe. It feels very clean. The food is amazing. I pay 50% off of everything. I have like a 5-course meal every single night for $20. Going to Argentina, which is the capital of steaks. I was literally, I had an office there. But you kind of have to experience it to see it. But now I've opened up my eyes, and we're sold this thing that listen, America is an amazing country. What it was founded on, and what it gave me the opportunity and you the opportunity to be is amazing. But we tend to forget there's 195 countries, 194 other countries in the world. And we forget that America is not the only country that has a lot of shit going on. There's so many. Once I started living outside the US, I was like, wow, it's like my ROI. Like if I'm basically going to get a steak and I'm paying $50 for a pretty good steak, where I can go pay, I'm just using it as a metaphorical example, but for the amount of money that I spend, I get a much higher quality life, and I spend a lot less. And
So quick trivia. What's your top 3 places right now? If you got rid of every country in the world but 3 places, what would be your top 3 places?
Go hang out, because they're a little bit different. Because I can give you my go hang out list and then go live list.
Well, let's do 2 separate lists then. What's your top 3 places to go hang out? Let's start with that. And what's your top 3 places to go live? And what's your ultimate dream place if you had a genie and he gave you the most money in the world and you can go set up shop there and build you a house or something? Yeah.
Oh man, you're asking me the best questions I've ever been asked on an interview. So top 3 go hang out places. If you've never been to Dubai, I highly recommend it. It's as cool, if not cooler, than it actually sounds. It just makes Miami and Vegas look poor. They look like poor homeless cousin compared to Dubai. I'm telling you, it's 3 times Miami. It's insane. I've never seen buildings as big and as many of them. It's just a bunch of rich Arab dudes with way too much money, and they were just all right, we don't care. They just built everything. You'll see the most random stuff there. It's pretty mind blowing. So I highly recommend Dubai. I really enjoy Eastern Europe. Really love Eastern Europe. So this whole region of the Balkan area. So not just one specific country, but Croatia, Serbia, Belgrade. Amazing. Really hanging out there. And for me is Morocco. I was born in Morocco, so I love that place as well. So that's another great place I have to go to hang out. To live, a couple places to live. Costa Rica, number 1. That's my home away from home. I love that.
You're the 3rd person to say something about Costa Rica. Yeah. Is it because of the rainfalls or what? What is it?
The people is the number 1 thing about it. They're actually voted the nicest people in the world. So the people are super friendly. They're not, trying to get it. I mean, everybody's trying to get something from you, but in Costa Rica, you don't really feel it. They just are nice to you because they want to be nice to you. The guys at a gas station pumping your gas, they want to help you because they want to help.
Right.
So and that and the food is pure, the nature, all this stuff. It's really amazing. I want to live there. I want to get a house there, and also in Eastern Europe. Those are pretty much the two places that I want to get in the Balkans, which is like by the Adriatic Sea, by either Montenegro or Croatia. I want to get a little house there, spend 6 months here, spend 6 months in Costa Rica, back and forth. And yeah, my dream is to get a farm. So we get a big farm, bunch of dogs, big house, someone to take care of it for me while I'm gone in Costa Rica, and a house in Eastern Europe, and just do back and forth.
Wow. So what about if I gave you a genie and they provide you as much money and resources you want? What would you ultimately set up shop?
Where?
Yeah,
Costa Rica and Eastern Europe, because it's one of those things where Dubai is cool, but Dubai, and it doesn't have the history that you have in other places.
Right.
So it's awesome, from the outside, from the inside looking out, it's amazing, but it's not rich with the people and the culture that it has in Costa Rica, or it has in some of these places. And that to me is more important. You can't buy that. There's no amount. You can build more big buildings, but you'll never get the feeling that you get in some of these places like Costa Rica and Eastern Europe, because the people will invite you to their house. You can have a drink with them. You can have food with them. It's just a communal culture that you don't really get in America either. You don't get that anywhere.
Amazing. Listen, I'm not going to take up too much more of your time. Hey, I love interviewing people who don't answer the damn questions. Every question I throw at you, you answer.
This has been fun. You asked some amazing questions. I really hope that people that, if you're inspired by this, listen, I'm just somebody else that didn't quit. I'm somebody else that wanted to take care of my family, wanted to live life on my terms, wanted to just enjoy and be able to help people. So if this helped anybody, you guys can follow me on Instagram. I'm always here to help and to support. So yeah.
What's your ID?
I recently changed it to Tech Daddy _.
I seen that. I was confused. I'm like, who's Daddy? I was like, who's calling me Daddy?
I'm a father.
What is Adam?
Long story. It's a funny inside joke that I made.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got a Facebook or anything, or IG is probably the best place to reach you?
IG is probably the best place. Yeah.
Cool. Any last messages? Any words of encouragement, or maybe because there's a lot of people out there that's struggling, still haven't gotten their first deal. Any words of encouragement to that audience that's probably watching right now?
Just never give up on your dreams, and put in the Friday and Saturday and Sunday. I had to, before this, I was putting in a lot of weekends for many years, and now people see the results, but they forget the amount of time that I had to put in. So put in the Friday, put in the Saturday. It's worth it, because in the long run you will be able to get complete freedom.
Amazing. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Adam, CEO of the Smarter Contact. If you're not using it, you're definitely all the way behind the curve. You can go to the Smarter Contact, I believe, at CEO929.com/Smarter Contact. We'll hook you up with $25 worth of free SMS. So even if you piss poor broke, you can take that and try to make an opportunity out of it. And like I said, to all my clients, even people watching, if you can't afford something, be resourceful. If you got a car, take your damn car and drive for Uber, Lyft on the side, and use that money to self-finance your Smarter Contacts and your VAs and whatever until you hit your stride of your business. We all go through these issues, and I'm not as religious, Adam, but I do tell people, God puts you through a situation to test your character before he bless you with the entire situation. So he's going to push you through the struggles to make sure that you actually are appreciative of it, because when he bless you, he expects for you to bless others too. So that's the reason why I think God's blessing my guy Adam. He's blessing me because I make it my point each and every week to show up for people. So I love everybody.
Man, love it.
I appreciate you for coming on the show, bro. Thank you so much for always supporting me. And I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.